welcome back, David. Thank you very much for sharing more information with us today.
Yes. Now, the thing is, everybody's, or most people have heard of the story um, in the Bible that Moses had to pull out his hand. Yeah. And it became white or something. The Bible says this. Yes. In Exodus. Yeah. You know that story. Yes.
I'm actually not familiar about that story. I just know a similar story from Dune, which is a science fiction book.
Oh, well, the story is that Moses had to go to see Pharaoh. Well, God commanded him, or this is what the story says. And then his hand came out as white as snow. Yeah. Now the thing is, many people don't know, but when you pull out your hand, and the thing is, your hand has got 19 bones, but according to official scientists, what many people are not aware of, yes, when you look online, it will turn around and say that your hand has got 27 bones. Yes. Ah, yeah. Normally you just leave the pictures for about 5 or 10 seconds. Leave it all the way through pictures so that people can see. Because somebody told me, hey, the pictures keep going off, and then I can't see them. Yeah. But anyway, the human hand, without the wrist, just the hand has got 19 bones. Yeah. And so the thing is, this is an amazing thing. Moses had to show his hand. And now, if anybody knows Judaism, yeah, then they will know there is something called the hand, the Hamza hand. Yes. And if anybody has a look at Jerusalem, yes, the word Jerusalem in European languages, it's just Jerusalem, but in Hebrew, they've got the letter H, Yerushalayim. Yes. And the thing is, in English, it's salam, but in Hebrew, it's shalom. So now the thing is, there is a hand that people hold out. Yeah. And many people say it's superstitious or something. And the thing is that they claim it came from the Middle East, but there's no evidence it came from the Middle East. Yes. And it's supposed to be the hand of Miriam or something. They've given it a fake story, but the thing is that this is supposed to be the hand of, the hand of Moses. He pulls out the hand, yeah, and to keep whatever the evil eye away. Yes. So now the thing is the evil eye, and then if anybody has a look at let me just show you how deep this is. There is the all-seeing eye. Yes, the all-seeing eye. And they say that this came from the Middle East, the all-seeing eye to do with the pyramids, and it's on the dollar as well as on the hand of the Hamza. Now, if you take away the H, then it's just the word Musa. And Musa is, according to the Quran, this is the name of Moses. And in Hebrew, they say Musa, but with the H, Moshe. Yes. So you will notice there's a difference in Hebrew, it's Moshe. Yes. In Arabic, it's Musa. And in English, they've Latinized it or turned it with the Greek Moses, like Jesus. Yes. So Moses is Moshe in Hebrew or Mosa. So the Hamza is the hand of Musa or Mose. Yes. Or the hand of Moses. So now the thing is, if anybody has a look at this hand very carefully, this is the hand itself. Yes. And Moses is saying, I've come with a message from God. And he's trying to stop the evil eye, whatever this evil eye is. Yes. So now the thing is, what many people don't know is that the symbol for Allah. Yes, the hand has got 19 fingers. The symbol for Allah, the Alpha and the Omega, it's got a strange thing like a cup to represent the thumb, and then the other 4 fingers. Yes. So that is the symbol for Allah. And then the symbol for Allah also just mysteriously happens to be, let me just open this up and just remind everybody, even though people already know. Yeah, I've noticed that many people now send me a message saying, Allah bless you. Yes, because they've realized that the Alpha and the Omega, actually represents the symbol for Allah. Yeah, and the Alpha and the Omega, I'll send it again, because that represents the hand as well as the Alpha and the Omega at the same time. But they've changed the style of the writing. Sometimes they put it with a small letter O, but the small letter O looks like an upside down U with two curls. But anyway, it is the symbol for Allah. Long story. Yeah. So Moses pulls out this hand. Yes. And as many people will notice that it's 19, and then the Quran warns you about this number 19 for some reason. Yeah. Let me just show. And the thing is, it turns around and says over it is 19, and then it turns around and says in the Quran, it says that people will you will know that this is a warning, and from this you will know if the Quran is speaking the truth. Yes, this is what it basically says. Yeah, and then let me just have a look. So the Hamza, yes, it's supposed to prevent this eye or something, and then there's the eye on the American dollar, and the eye is inside the triangle, and the triangle has got 3 sides. Now, at first, it seems like it's just a coincidence, all these things, but the thing is, when you go deep into it, yeah, when you go deep into it, let me just show you the thing about this eye, yeah, the eye. Now, the thing is, let me go a bit deeper. Yes. So now when Christians get baptized, they put the symbol of the Trinity or the letter T. Yes. And the T is supposed to be the original crucifix. Yeah, you know, many people dispute it, but that is the original crucifix. And the thing is, this is what the symbol they'll put on your head, the letter T. You know, the Franciscans and everybody else, they had it because they say Christ, you know, had his arms out like the letter T. But of course, many people dispute this. And the thing is, you'll see this in paintings, you know, in the Renaissance paintings, it's normally in the shape of a T. Other people dispute this, but the thing is that it goes even further. Now, the Shakespeare character is suspicious, William Shakespeare. Now, on William Shakespeare's grave placard, yeah, this is the grave placard, have a look, and you will notice that where it says the word Isus, yes, right below it, there's a letter T, a letter Y, and a letter T, and a letter Y. Have you noticed this? There's 3 letter T's, yeah, to represent the Trinity. Yeah. So now the thing is, when we have a look at this, the letter T, let me just show you. Many people don't know the New Testament. Yeah, the New Testament was basically written in Greek. Yes, in Greek. Yes. So now this gets more suspicious when people have a look at it. It was written in Greek, and then the letter T in that Greek, yes, is actually the 19th letter. Yes, it was the 19th letter, and it was supposed to represent the crucifix as well. It wasn't just an accident. Yeah, and they say you know, the added on, you know, many centuries, 1,000 years or something, and you can find it in the earliest days of the church, adopted the Greek letter T as a symbol for the crucifixion, etc., etc. Yes, but it's no coincidence that it's the 19th letter. Yeah, and the thing is, it's no coincidence that it's the 19th letter, and the major Bibles, yeah, are very suspicious. Like there's the Codex of Sinai. Yes, check it out, 1844. Yeah, they say we've only just found it. That date could be a fabrication. It could have been 1874. But the thing is, it was found in Egypt. Egypt? What the hell's going on? Why was it found in Egypt? Yes. So another thing is Egypt, and the thing is, it's written in Greek. So as we go on, let me just go through these things because all these things are interconnected. It is a known fact that all these New Testament Gospels are basically written in Greek. Yes, and the oldest the oldest New Testaments. Sinai is one of them. Yeah, and let's have a look at something. I'm going to go through all these one by one with you. What is the meaning of the tower, the cross? You know, like Jesus with his arms out with the letter T, and this is what they will tell you. You know, it means that this is the it means it's completion of God's word and its perfection. Now, also another thing, what to be the last letter, but please remember the Hebrew alphabet and all these things were you know, recently played with Elijah ben Yehuda. Let me just give this proof, because if there's any new viewers who don't know, they will be they're going to be shocked. So Elijah ben Yehuda, who came from the Baltics or Eastern Europe, you know, he invented the modern Hebrew language, wrote the first dictionary, and he created it mysteriously from Arabic. Now, some people will say, oh, David's preaching Islam or something. Get real. What am I supposed to do? He got it from Arabic. He didn't get it from Chinese. Now, if he got it from Chinese, I will talk about the Chinese language. And then somebody's going to say, oh, he's giving communist propaganda here. I'm not giving any propaganda. The first comment here is Wikipedia. Elijah ben Yehuda, he says the roots of the Arabic language were part of the Hebrew language, and it was lost, and we found them again only after the 1880s, updated in the 20th century. He then goes on to say, hey, to make sure this Hebrew language works, I'm using the Arabic language. He even turned around and says that he's identified the Arabic roots in you know, these Arab languages in the local area that he's found in the Mishnah and the Talmud. So he's found Arabic words in the Mishnah and the Talmud. So are these words Hebrew or are they Arabic? Oh, by the way, yeah, if anybody goes deeper into this, yeah, it gets even worse. We can't find anybody who speaks Hebrew at all. They're telling us, oh, people spoke it 2,000 years ago. Yeah, Hebrew was not a spoken language. It didn't exist. It doesn't exist. And then we're reading the Mishnah and the Talmud, and they just happen to be Arabic words. Like I opened up the Bible just a few days ago, and the thing is, the words, yeah, I compared them in the Arabic dictionary, and they just happen to be Arabic as well at the same time, which is shocking. It's almost like saying Australian is a different language from English. It's not, but it might, people might change it in the future. But anyway, so it's the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which is no coincidence. Yeah, so according to Hebrew, T or 19 in the Greek is the last letter. Now, this gets even more suspicious. Yeah, the way Christianity is formed. So now the Tau cross, you know, the monks, the Franciscans and all these others, Jesuits and others, brothers, sisters, you know, who were working for the Vatican, they wore this T on their chest. In other words, they're walking around with the number 19, saying, hey, I've got a number 19 here. You see, I've got it on my chest. You see, so they're showing these things, and they're saying this is, you know, this is their symbol. So now let's have a look at it again. And now if we look carefully, so this T represents number 19, but also what is this letter T? It is the symbol for death, for the death and the murder of Christ. It is the symbol of death and murder, or death and the end. The omega or the tau in Hebrew, it's supposed to be the end or death. Yes, yes. So number 19 is once again there, and it's supposed to be death. Yeah. And what you will notice is that you know, many of these things are very suspicious. You know, many of these biblical archaeology that we're finding of the crucifixion event, if you look clearly, yeah, they're on the letter T with a triangle on the top, and this letter T has got three sides. Yes, and the triangle is the Trinity, and the Trinity is with the letter T. Yeah, so what these people are doing is when you're getting baptized, they're basically putting the number 19 on your head. Why would they be doing this? So now, so now Codex Sinaiticus, I'll send it you again so that people can see this. I'm doing this very fast, yeah, because of the limited time. Yeah, it's you know, it's a Greek Bible. Why is it in Greek, and why is it found in Egypt? What's it doing in Egypt? So now the thing is, where is Sinai? Some people don't know. It's in Egypt, not far from Cairo. I think it takes a few hours to drive there. a few hours by coach. I went once. Now, the other great old Bibles, the major ones, are Codex Alexandrinus. Yes, and Codex Alexandrinus has got a suspicious history. It was missing for many centuries. Yes, and the thing is that also mysteriously it's in the British Library, and this book came from Alexandria in Egypt once again. Egypt? Why are they coming from Egypt? And why are they written in Greek? Isn't ancient Greece supposed to be in Greece? What are they doing? Oh, somebody's going to say, oh, these people mysteriously took on a new language. Yeah, people will turn around and say. So, and then the other copies are here. You could read this on the first line. The other major copy, these are the three major copies. Notice the Trinity, three major copies of the New Testament in the Bibles is Codex Vaticanus. Yeah, Codex Vaticanus. Yeah, and so the oldest complete Codex Vaticanus. Yeah, check this out. Many people don't wish to say, but you know, everybody knows that the writing style is actually from Alexandria, from Greece, from Egypt. From Egypt once again. Why are these Bibles coming from Egypt? Yeah, so now there is other people, they're trying to guess because they don't know. They don't know. So because the church tries to guess, they try to give you the idea that maybe it's written in Greek, but it came from Rome, or it came from Turkey, or Egypt. It's one of those three. Yeah, but the thing is, if all the others came from Egypt, then of course it came from Egypt. So now if we have a look at what the Catholic Church itself says, yeah, so the Catholic Church cannot deny it because too many people have investigated this, people like me. Yeah, it represents a form of text current in Egypt. You know that the writing was used in Egypt, only in Egypt. Yes, and this Greek was only used in Egypt. Oh, they're claiming it was used, you know, 2,000 years ago. But the thing is, people like Fomenko and other people have said that this is more likely the Middle Ages. Now let's go back to this Tau symbol with the number 19 that they're using for baptism. As I've said, this is from the Franciscan order themselves under the control of the Vatican. The Vatican themselves, their order says that this 19 is the symbol of death. So they're putting this on your head, on your baby's head. They're drawing it, and you put the three fingers together for the Tau symbol, and you start, you know, when you're doing the sign of the cross, you're actually putting the Tau symbol on your body, or you're putting the number 19. Yes, and this is what they're doing in baptisms. They're putting the symbol of death, or 19, on the baby's head when it's born. It's actually so shocking that many people will turn around and think, I don't want to do this. Yes, now when they're actually holding out the cross or the symbol of death or the number 19, the cross is actually 19. Now, some people will say, where did you get that from, David? Okay, yeah, there's more. When people go through all of these things, it's just absolutely, totally a joke, this 19 thing. So they're holding out the cross, yes, in front of your face, or they're holding the number 19 in front of your face. Yeah. So this is so much deeper, yeah, so much deeper than you can imagine. Let me just show you. This is in my book, Matrix Codes. If people don't read my books, they're not going to understand. Yeah, some people are going to say, hey, I've listened to a video, I've woke up, I've understood. No, it's not that easy to understand. So now the thing is, when somebody has a look at a cross has got 19 lines. Yes, a cross, a basic cross. This is the basic cross. Yes, and in mathematics, it's got 19 lines. When you count the lines together, it's got 19 lines. This is no coincidence. Yeah, these symbols, everything, they've been specifically and carefully chosen. So they're basically putting the number 19 in your face. 19, 19, 19. Now Moses held out his hand and he's rejecting the eye, the all-seeing eye. And what is the all-seeing eye? Let's have a look at the all-seeing eye. Let's have a look at it a bit more carefully. Yeah, this is in my book, Matrix Codes. Yeah, so if anybody wants to read it, they will get a deeper explanation that we will find these things on these paintings of Christ from the Renaissance, this all-seeing eye, that they're showing that Christ is the eye, but Moses is rejecting the eye. He's holding, what is Moses doing? Yeah, Moses is doing this. They've made you think that Moses is doing something else, that he's just pulling out his hand from his pocket. But what Moses is doing is what the police do normally. Yes, when they tell you to stop. Yes, just your hand without your wrist. So Moses is showing the 19 bones and he's rejecting the eye. And this is in Judaism. Yes, in Judaism, the Ha-Musa or the Hamza, yes, that this is the symbol of the hand, and Moses is actually rejecting it. You can buy these things in Eastern Europe. They're very popular in Eastern Europe and in the Middle East and in Spain, in Italy, in Latin America. People are crazy for this. In Europe, you know, people have gone past the days of remembering this history. It's been deleted here. So Moses is holding out his hand. He's rejecting the 19. So now let me go to the next page. Yes, so basically you're getting baptized with the number 19. Yeah, and the thing is, let's go to the Franciscan Order of the Vatican on their website, and we'll read what the Vatican's people are saying themselves. This is what they will say themselves. The oldest pattern of the cross is the Tau cross or the T cross. Oh yeah, William Shakespeare puts 3 of them on his grave. Yeah, he didn't exist, by the way, but that's another long story. Yeah, so now the other thing is, when people go to the Old Testament is written in Hebrew. Yes, and Hebrew is from the Arabic language, as the people who created modern Hebrew have even admitted. Now, when people read Ezekiel in the Bible, this is a strange story. It turns around and says this. It says, let me just make this bigger. Let me just make this bigger so that people can read this bigger. Yeah, that this is in Ezekiel. Yeah, and the story is this. It turns around and says they say that God spoke out in a voice, as if God can speak. This is one. Yeah, and it says, what do you call it? Just go around killing people. Yes, go around killing people and kill everybody and these things. And it turns around and says, and put a mark on the foreheads of the men who are crying, sighing or groaning, complaining, it could be, yeah, over all these abominations committed there. And then it turned around and says, if anybody reads the wording carefully in all these translations, it turns around and says, slaughter the old men, the young men and the maidens, the women and the children, but do not go near anyone who has the mark. This is what they're teaching us today. But you know what? Many people don't even open the Bible, and they don't look at the actual Hebrew. The Hebrew is actually the same in Arabic as well. Yeah. And then if you actually read the Hebrew, do you know what it says? And Yahweh Elo, this is turning around saying the God Yahweh. Elo, Elah. Yeah. Elah means Elah, or Elah just means a God, any God. It could mean any God. Yes, in Hebrew or in Arabic, or if you want to say Aramaic. So now, why is it going to say in the Bible, the God Yahweh, and the God Yahweh said, go to the middle of the city, through the city of Jerusalem, and put a mark on the foreheads of men? Why is this Yahweh commanding this? And why is it called the God Yahweh? Why doesn't it just say the Lord God of mankind? And now, let me just show you. I've got this in bigger. Yeah, I'm lucky I've got this now. It's in bigger. It turns around and says, do not go near anybody who has the mark. This is what we're told, what it says. But now, when we go and read this in Ezekiel, in that chapter, yes, here is the actual verse. Yeah, many people don't check these things. Of course, they know you're not going to check. So now in verse 6, in the Hebrew, this is what it actually says. Old, young men, the young girls, the kids, you know, the kids as well, and the women, kill almost everything but anyone upon whom is the mark. Now, this is what it says. Now, have a look at where it says, but anyone. I'll magnify this, yeah? Because the thing is, I learned this, you know, because, you know, I knew this because when I went to Egypt and to Morocco, I picked up a few words. And now the word wa'al, yes, does not even mean but. It doesn't say except people who has the mark. This is an invented translation. Now, the thing is, forget Arabic. Let's look at the same word everywhere else in the Bible. Now, the same word everywhere else in the Bible, this is one page example, you will notice that Wa'al means and, including, and. Yes, wa'al. And in every form, however you pronounce it, wale, 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 wala, wale. Yeah, all of it means and or including. So they've made a fake translation. Now let's go back to this original translation, and then what do we see? It actually says in the Bible, it actually says, kill everybody and including anyone who has this mark. Now let's go to the Hebrew. Yes. Now you the thing is, you'll notice that the word the letter H, yes, is just a modern pronunciation in the Hebrew from Europe. So you will notice what is this mark that these people in the Old Testament before Jesus is born, what is this mark that the people have on their head? They've got the tau on their head, the crucifix. How can they have the crucifix on their head before Jesus Christ is born? This is because Anatoly Fomenko has even said that the stories in the Old Testament are not actually old. The Old Testament was written after the New Testament. Fomenko, Old Testament written after the New. So the thing is, Fomenko showed this, and it's not just Fomenko. Yes, even the New Testament was written before the Old Testament. Yes, so the Old Testament is describing events that are during the Middle Ages. During the Middle Ages. So this was a war, and they slaughtered anybody who had the crucifix or this number 19 on their head. They're slaughtering these people. So Fomenko, here it is. This is from his book, History, Science or Fiction, that he shows. And even I've shown that it's totally suspicious that, how can this New Testament, Old Testament be written, back in the old days? Because we're actually finding the word Muhammad in many places. I'll just give a few examples. I'll just give 2 or 3 just to make it short. There is a battle going on between these followers of Muhammad and the followers of the cross or the number 19. Yes. And this thing here, it says, you have taken my Mohammedans into your temples and palaces. What it means, temples is it into the temples of Tower, the temples of 19. Yeah. So this is what's going on. And then it turned around and says, when Jerusalem or Istanbul, the Middle Ages, the evidence shows that Jerusalem is Istanbul. And if we go to Istanbul today, we only see Muslims there or Turks. Yeah. So it makes sense that they broke down the walls of Jerusalem, burnt and destroyed all the possessions of the Mohammedans. Doesn't this sound like Istanbul? Doesn't this sound like in the Middle Ages, the Crusades? Yeah. Oh, and one of the biggest jokes ever, because somebody turned around and said, it's because they've never bothered to read my book, Mud Flood. Or this is in my book, Mud Flood, and Jerusalem is in Europe. Yeah. Do you know what one of the biggest jokes that they're telling us about the Crusades? Yeah. Anatoly Fomenko pointed this out. This is what I find so funny. I find it totally absurd. Never mind these hundreds of paintings and drawings from the Middle Ages. Anatoly Fomenko points out that, what do you call it? Yes, that I'll highlight this. Many armies in the Crusades, many of them, mysteriously went to attack Istanbul. Are you trying to tell me that, these Crusaders, they went to the wrong city? They even went to the wrong continent. They went to Europe instead of the Middle East. How can you go to the wrong place if you're fighting the Crusades? It doesn't make sense. And then the other thing is, the other crazy thing is, which nobody seems to talk about, the Crusades, did they really happen in the Middle East or did they happen in Europe? Everybody talks about, oh, they launched Crusades, because they had to stop. It was 1,000 years late. They forgot to start the Crusades for 1,000 years. Yeah, because Islam started growing 1,000 years later. Hey, wait a minute. Every single year for up to 1,000 years, the Vatican is having a crusade fighting Germany. They're fighting Germans. Yeah, they're fighting Germans. The Crusades were in Europe. Yeah, and then the thing is, if somebody's going to say, David, you're exaggerating here, I'm not exaggerating, because the thing is, what many people don't talk about is that now they just keep them in zoos and they've disappeared. But you know, even in World War I and World War II, yeah, the Germans and the Russians were fighting each other with camels, you know, in Northern Europe. Yeah, here's pictures, you know, fighting with camels. This is not the Middle East. We're talking about Europe here. So the thing is, you know, that's why they're finding Arabic coins. So when I turned around and said, hey, the Quran is the history of Europe and it's from Europe, this is the likely story. I mean, the strange thing is that, let's just look at this strange book called the Quran. Yeah. And the thing is, the Muslims claim it's their book. They've had it for centuries. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If they've had this book for centuries, no offense to the Muslims. Yeah. But the thing is, and what do you call it? We've got the story. We've got the story in the Quran, which talks about, you know, the Last Supper of Christ. Yes, the Last Supper of Christ. Yeah. Let me just show you this here, which the Muslims don't talk about it. We don't see any Muslims remembering this. It doesn't mean anything to them. This is a story that's important to Europeans, to people in England, in Holland, in France, in Germany, in Poland, in Switzerland, in Austria and Hungary. So the Last Supper of Christ is in the Quran. And then it talks about the table that came down from heaven, yeah, which we see in the paintings of Da Vinci in Europe. We don't seem to find this in the Middle East. The Muslims don't seem to have an answer for this. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, so we've got this, and the thing is, the table in Da Vinci's paintings shows astronomical connections, as if the table came down from heaven. Yeah, so the thing is, then this table came down from heaven, and the cup that Christ is drinking from, you know, he's drinking and eating a meal from heaven or wherever it's supposed to be, and this cup became the Holy Grail. I mean, the thing is, I don't see Muslims talking about the Holy Grail, saying, oh, it's very special to us. Oh, things like this. I see these stories in England, where I'm living over here. I hear these stories in Russia. You know, people are looking for the Holy Grail. They're looking for the cup, the table of Christ and all these things. And then the other thing is, you know, we see Christmas trees all over Europe. Yeah, the Christmas tree, and they're telling us that it's some strange ritual or something that in Europe is saying it's something pagan. We don't know where it came from. Yeah, and the story is only 500 years old. Yeah, not older. Yeah, and then the strange thing is, yeah, it doesn't mention it in the Bible. It mentions it in the Quran. So once again, it looks like the Quran came from Europe. Yeah, its origins are somewhere in Europe, where it turns around and says Jesus Christ was born beside a tree. Yes, he was born beside a tree, and there was fruit on this tree. That's why people used to decorate the trees. What was the original Christmas tree until the 20th century? Because now it's been commercialized. Coca-Cola, Cadbury's chocolates, you know, at the bottom of the Christmas tree. People used to put fruits, you know, on the trees, because this was something to do with Christ, where Christ was born, and the Virgin Mary, yeah, is eating the fruit from the tree. This is the story in the Quran. Now, another thing is, Professor Fomenko even points out that, what do you call it? Yes, you know, the story of Plato and Atlantis is a forgery. It's not thousands of years old. It's from the Renaissance and even later. Now, the strange thing is, you know, Atlantis is Atland, island, or Atlant. Yeah, the strange thing is, this Atlant civilization is another strange thing. Yeah, the Muslims in the Middle East and all these other places, they don't seem to talk about it. Yeah, and the thing is, this story is in the Quran too. That it looks like the version of the story of Atlant or Atlantis, if you're going to add on the is. You know, like Moses or Jesus, like adding on the Greek or the Latin. This Atlant is actually in the Quran, which we don't seem to know why it's there, and the Muslims don't seem to even mention that either. Yeah, so these Qurans that are in Northern Europe points to the evidence that this book originated somewhere in Europe. Well, anyway, let's go back to this story.
Okay, let me just
So
add
now,
one random tidbit. Do
yeah,
you
go ahead.
perchance know what the so-called top-level domain for Austria is? Maybe it's a hint. It's AT. You know, that's the short code for Austria. So I'm just saying.
Yes. A strange thing is, when somebody looks at the name of Austria, is Ost means East, Turia. That's why we've got Medi Turan. Yes, then we've got Osturia. Then we've got Vesturia, Switzerland's Vesturia. That's West Tur. So it's to do with the Torah. Once again, they are the children of Israel. That's another long story. Yes, let's get back to the 19 Moses in the hand. So now this thing is they've lied and they've mistranslated the word tau in the Bible. So this is the mark, and it doesn't say but, it doesn't say except people who have the mark. It says including and the people who have the mark. You've got to kill them. This is the command by whoever this Yahweh is. Yes, even the kids, you know, which is atrocious. Yeah, and then they've given us some fabricated story in Christianity. Another thing is the divine thing, and they're trying to link it to Judaism. It says the town is a sign that's placed upon the foreheads of the poor people of Israel. It saves them from extermination. Excuse me, from this is it Ezekiel? No, yes, Ezekiel. It's showing that no, exterminate them. And then we've also got that when we're reading the same story in Ezekiel. Yeah, let me just see. We've got the story. This Muhammad is once again mentioned in Ezekiel. I think it's in more than one or two places. That this battle and the killing of the people with the 19, the letter T, yeah, or the cross. This sounds like the Middle Ages. And the thing is, this Muhammad is once again mentioned in this place. It says this Muhammad. It says that somebody makes a threat saying, I'm going to take away Muhammad from their eyes. I'm going to get rid of this Muhammad. I've had enough of him. You watch. Yeah. So this is a war between Christendom, yes, and these Mohammedans. Yes. Another place, what do you call it? Yes. Muhammad is once again mentioned in Ezekiel chapter 24. So this Ezekiel book, the entire book is just events in the Middle Ages. So just because I've pointed out Muhammad, but now we've got the symbol of the cross there, but they've made some fantasy story to say, oh, it's in the Old Testament from ancient times, thousands of years ago. This Yahweh saved them from extermination. It doesn't say except the people who have the mark. It says and those people who have the mark. Get rid of them, slaughter them. So this is something that's happening in the Middle Ages, the people who have this T. So now the other thing is what the Vatican and what their people did is they put the number 19, yes, with the cross around the Alpha and the Omega. Now, the Alpha and the Omega, can you still hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Ah, yes, they put the Alpha and the Omega around the symbol of the cross. Now, Greek was updated, Greek Omega, yes, and you'll notice that this Omega, what people don't realize, yes, is that when you're writing something, the capital is the A, and the Omega, the O should be smaller, which is in the Allah symbol. But here they've used the capital for the letter O. Yes, and the O it's actually the letter A, but they've extended it so that people don't realize, you know, they've modified the shape. So now the thing is, let's have a look. The thing is to know that it's that they modified and they played around with the alphabet. Here is the perfect example. Here is what we can read: the alpha tau, or the 1 and the 9, or the 19, and they're saying it comes from Phoenicia. Yeah, Phoenicia is the Farnese or Venice. Yes. Fomenko even points this out. Venice is the seafaring nation. Venice, the Phoenicians. We cannot find this Phoenicia in the Middle East. Yeah, Fomenko points it out. It's in my books. Let me just see if I can find it. Yeah, Venetia, the word Venetia. Yeah, as let me just show you as yes, it's actually the medieval Venice, that they've got their ships and they're sailing around and they're fighting against these so-called people in the East. Now, the Greek Bible, mysteriously, all these Greek Bibles are coming from Egypt. Yes, Egypt. Yes, and then Fomenko points out that ChiRo was actually Babylon. Yes, ChiRo was called Babylon. Fomenko points it out. And why is ChiRo called ChiRo? Yes, and many people don't seem to know this, but there is more of a secret. When people check through this, you soon start thinking, oh my God, yes, ancient Egypt was not thousands of years ago. It didn't exist. Ancient Egypt was just 500 years ago, Middle East. So ChiRo is Babylon. So now let me just show you what they're telling lies about. Yes, all these Bibles are coming from, where do you call it? Yes, Egypt. And Egypt is Babylon. Yes, it's coming, and their major city where the pyramids are is Cairo. And what is the symbol for the cross? Yes, it's the symbol of Cairo. You see, Christianity came from Babylon, and Babylon is what we call ancient Egypt. You see, when people connect these dots together. And then let me just show you when Moses was resisting the eye. Let me just make this a bit more clear. Yes, so that people can see this more carefully. They're turning around and saying this is the eye of God. Yes, it's supposed to represent God. Yes, but Moses is holding out his hand. He's rejecting the eye. Now, there's going to be many people who are saying, the Jews have been saying this for centuries, and in Europe, they did their best to expel these Jews, whoever these Jews were, yes, who rejected, or the children of Israel. Yes, they say that this eye is supposed to represent the eye of God. Yes, so now let's have a look what this eye really is. Is it really the eye of God? Yes, what did this eye of God really represent? So now, if anybody who has a look, once again, we go back to Babylon, which is Cairo, or where the cross is, yeah, Horus. Yeah, this is in my book, Matrix Codes. If you read it, you will get better details. I'm going through this very fast. The eye of Horus, this is the eye that Moses rejected. He said no. He's holding out his hand, and his hand has got 19 bones, and his hand has got some form of power. It comes in the color of white, and it's shining or something, and it's shining, and Moses's hand, white, shining, it's got some sort of power. Yeah, the thing is, yeah, and it's white as snow, and something, it's shining, and something, and it had some form of power. Yeah, so we don't know what this really was, but the Quran goes even further, and it says that that Pharaoh's people, yeah, the Quran story, it says that they did that Pharaoh called all his scientists. Yes, he called all his scientists and ministers. Yes, and Moses threw down his staff. It turned into a snake. Yes, and I'll go through the snake in a minute, and then people are going to think, what the hell is this? Yes, he's holding out his hand. Yes, and it turns into a snake. Yes, so now the thing is, when people have a look, the image on the dollar, you can see many old things. It's actually the letter S, and the letter S is actually in the form of a snake. Yes, and S, it just happens to be the number 19. Yes, and it's the snake. So now Moses, his stick turns into the number 19. He's holding out the number 19. Yeah. So, and then what pharaohs, they call them the magicians. Pharaoh's magicians, they made all these snakes. Yes, they made all of them. So when perform a miracle, yes, and so Moses and Aaron, what happened? The magicians. This story is in the Bible and the Quran, and because we've got limited time, what they did is that they did something, yes, and their staffs turned into sticks. But it's more to do with mathematics and other things. And then we've got the story of the Emet. I mentioned this, Emet truth in Egypt, yes, and the story of the Emet. And the Emet is in Hebrew documents as well, yes. The thing is, the Emet, and yeah, the word Emet in Hebrew, it means truth. And then when you say Ma Emet, mother of truth, Maha Emet, which is Muhammad or Muhammad. Yes, so the thing is, many people don't like it. They don't want to hear stories from Judaism or from Islam. Don't forget, the Ashkenazi Jews are half the Jews in the world were actually in Europe. Yes, and nobody wanted them. They got rid of them. Zionism and Nazism were part of the processes in getting rid of them. Yeah, Zionism is another long story. Yeah, I'll talk about that some other day. Yeah, it is not just about what people think. You know, like one-sided. There's different sides. Like you could say, there's you could be Jewish, and you could be one type of Jewish or another type of Jewish. You could be Christian. You could be you know, an evangelical Christian, or you could be a Catholic. Yeah, you could be a Muslim, like, you know, these Muslims who wear the beards and these skirt type of long dresses, or the other type, you know, the Turks, that some people say are secular Jews. So there's different types. Yeah. But anyway, so there is this Maha Emet thing. It's a long story, but let me just show the final thing, that Moses rejected the eye, and this is the scary thing. Yes, when Moses was rejecting the eye, he's in ancient Egypt. He's rejecting the eye. Yes, and they're putting the tau symbol or the 19 symbol on your head, and the baptism symbol thing. We're still doing it in a Mormon churches, baptism, and other churches. Doesn't matter if they're different, but when you look at the Christian priests, yes, they're following the Egyptian priesthood. Yes, and the stick that they threw down turned into a snake, and they're putting this 19 on your head. So now let's go back to what this eye symbol is. This eye symbol, yes, this eye symbol, let me just get it out. Bit of a delay here. Sorry about this. This eye symbol, they're using it for democracy as well, the rights of humans and the Universal Declaration of the Rights of Man. This is the New World System. That's why it's on the coins. Yeah, you if anybody reads my book, Ancient Egypt is Not Ancient, that you'll notice that to go inside the pyramid, you went the main entrance, or the actual entrance, was through the 19th layer, whoever these Egyptians were, and Moses is fighting Pharaoh. And the thing is, who is this all-seeing guy? Is it God, or is it the New World Order? And on the dollar, Novus Order Seclorum, secular New World Order. Yes, it's their world order. Now, the all-seeing guy is the eye that is going to be watching you, or the AI. Now, when you look at this more and more, they could have just called this Internet Intelligence, II. They had the choice to call it Internet Intelligence. I would have naturally called it Internet Intelligence, II, you know, because I remember 20 years ago, nobody imagined there's going to be II. So now, AI, artificial intelligence, forms 19 in the English alphabet, and English is the most common. The English symbol AI they're using all over the world, even if artificial intelligence it's not AI in different languages, but they're still using that. Yeah. So the thing is, this is the I that they're talking about. You see, and Moses rejected this eye, and this is the eye of the New World Order that you see that they're advertising it everywhere with the X or the letter T. Madonna is wearing it. Yes, she's wearing it, and they formed the triangle. There's Beyonce there, who's the other one, Kate Perry. So this is what they're doing now. Let's move ahead. I'll give it a few more because today I'm doing my best to give so much information. Well, I think that's the bulk of the information. Yes, and the thing is, the Quran warns you about this number 19, and then it says that you're going to find the truth with this. So this made me think that nobody tells you about this. Nobody tells you about this except the Quran, mysteriously. Yeah, so it's not that I'm going to turn around and say, hey, I found out all these things myself, that I'm some genius or something. Yeah, it's like, and I'm not preaching or anything, but the thing is, nobody in the world is telling us about this number 19. Nobody. Yeah, and then nobody is telling us apart this from this strange book that we seem to you know, look down on in the West and everything. This strange book is turning around and saying, hey guys, yeah, there's a number 19 and it's over some form of fire. Like a cigar, it uses the word sacer in that verse, and yeah, it's in the Latin languages, sacer, cigar, cigaris, and the Germanic languages. So the Quran, as I've said before, the word to describe this fire, you could say it's a German word, you could say it's a Latin word, you could say it's Arabic, and then it turns around and says that this is a trial and a test for the people who don't believe, so that you will know for sure what the truth is. And this is one of the greatest warnings to mankind. But anyway, the thing is, I started off from there, and I moved ahead and I found these things. Yeah. So the thing is, because your video yesterday mentioned it's a little because it's such deep information. I thought I'll mention it so that nobody gets misled. But anyway, wait, let me go through something even more. Yes, because somebody's going to turn around and say, I'm preaching Islam. Are they dreaming? There is no way I'm going to be preaching this. Most of modern Islam is fake. Most of it is following this fake history. There's no evidence that the Prophet Muhammad even existed the way that modern Islam describes him in the Arabian deserts or whatever. I'm going to write about this and go through this soon. The evidence shows that whoever this Prophet Muhammad was, him and his army came from Northern Europe and Northwestern Asia, Russia. Don't forget, half of Russia is in Northwestern Asia. Yes, so let me just go through this, and then it's even worse, this Christianity or something. Yeah, it's not that I'm against Christianity. I love the story of Christ. Even today, even if I know that the New Testament, yeah, somebody's going to say I'm a hypocrite. My personal beliefs, I like Christ. If Christ is here today, I would join him and I would believe him, even though there is no evidence right now to show that Christ communicated with a God. We don't even know where he lived. My book, which shows Jerusalem is in Europe, shows that we can't find this Jerusalem in the Middle East. The entire story seems like a hoax. And also the concept of virgin birth. Yeah, which is another long story. If somebody turned around and says to me today in Paris or in Frankfurt, somebody says, hey, I've just had a child from a virgin birth, I doubt anybody's going to accept it. But because, I've got Christian friends, I don't want to say anything to them. But this is such a strong thing that the thing is, it's something that's so unbelievable. Yes. Let me just show you. Yeah, this is the biggest joke. Yes. Now, the thing is, now this 19 just turns into such a big joke when it comes to Christianity, Moses holding out his hand and everything. This is in my book, Napoleon Did Not Exist, or Napoleon and the Mud Flood. They made sure that the dates of Easter are going to be 19th of April, the most frequent date. Yeah, this is why they invented the new calendar. Yes, called the Gregorian calendar, because they wanted this, and there is no evidence that the Julian calendar even existed. This is another hoax as well. Yeah, and then the thing, it just goes on and on. Let me just show you the Council of Nicaea. Yes, when they decided to create Easter as an official festival and remove it from the so-called Children of Israel or Jewish festival of Passover. Yeah, who were these guys to decide this? These guys, they decided this on 19th of June, the year 325 AD. What the hell's going on here? They call this the Nicene Creed. I've just sent you this. Let me just send you more evidence. This is in my book, Napoleon Did Not Exist. But this is no joke. Yes. Then let's just go to one of the worst things. Yeah. The day. Let me see now. Let me just go through one of the worst things that this is just so deep. What is going on? Yeah, I'm spelling it wrong. It's because they give these strange dates, strange titles. Now Christmas. Now when was Christmas? When was Christmas supposed to be celebrated? When the church created Christmas? Yeah, it was supposed to be the Feast of Epiphany. They give these strange names anyway. Yeah, the original date of celebration was January the 19th. Yes, and because they created this Gregorian calendar, so then it was moved around, and then it eventually ended up on December the 15th. But why was it on January the 19th in the first place? Yeah, yeah, and then Easter. Let's see what Easter represents. Yeah, Easter is supposed to represent God came back from the dead. You know, Jesus Christ is God, became man. It's the Trinity. So, you know, God's dead, yeah, but God's just come back to life. You know, God, you know, it's like God went on holidays, just come back from the dead. You know, like you know, I just came back from Liverpool, you could say, a few days ago, and he came back on April the 19th. You know, so these things are just, it sounds like a joke. Oh, yeah, when did we know that, you know, when did God get baptized? Yeah, let's have a look at this. So, when was God officially, when did he officially became, Epiphany. Yes, the last day of Christmas. Epiphany is the day that that God officially, you know, that God officially became a man. Yeah, I forgot these minor details, but the details are in my book. If anyone's saying what's he talking about, the details are there. But this 1919 thing is just becoming a joke. Yeah. So now when Moses dealt with these people, you know, fought against them, he held out his hand and he's saying stop, and he's saying stop, and he's holding out his hand. Yeah. But and what they're showing us, yeah, what they're showing us is a bit of a fabrication. Yeah, what they're trying to show is um, pulled out his hand from his cloak. What they're showing us on purpose, because what many people don't realize is what they're showing us is when we go to school is you know, a Moses character like this. Yeah, but we haven't got a clue what Moses looks like. So we've got something like this, but what we don't realize is that the human hand has got these 19 bones. He's holding it out and he's rejecting the all-seeing eye. Now, I know no matter what, people just will not want to look at Jewish sources. I mean, what is wrong? What is wrong? So now in the Jewish sources, what we get to see is that, and in Christian sources from the Middle Ages, yes, that this hand, yes, is called the Hamza. And if many people don't know, let me just show. Um, um, Hebrew, yeah, letter H, yeah, that the Muslims and Europeans, they don't have the letter H, it's added on. Yes, that in Hebrew it's going to be shalom, in in um, in Arabic it's going to be salam or salam. Yes, so they don't use the letter H. So now I'll give a classic example. Um, um, just choose any European language off the top of your head, Raphael.
French.
Hello? French. Okay, now let's type in Jerusalem. Yeah, Jerusalem, and yeah, and let's see what is the French. In most European languages, when you translate the word Jerusalem, it is with an S, without the H. There is no letter H. So now this Hamza, yes, where is the symbol for to protect yourself against this eye or this one eye. Yes, is the H is silent when it's going to be in the European languages. And the origin of this, they've just given it some strange story saying it came from here or there. Yes, the truth is it originated from the time of Moses. Yeah, and this hand is supposed to protect you. This holding out your hand, or the one that's been blessed by God with the Alpha and the Omega. Yes, let me just show this again. I don't know where it's gone. That this hand here is the hand, and you're rejecting the eye, and the Alpha and the Omega is the A and the Alpha and the Omega from the letter 19. Alpha is the first. Let me just find God is the first and the last. Yeah, it turns around and says this in the Bible. It says that God is the Alpha and the Omega. Yes, God is the first and the last. So the first number is 1 and the last number is 9. So these people who want power to rule the New World Order or the Old World Order, this is nothing new. These people, they're playing God, they want to be God. Like, for example, here's the hand 19. Let me just show you again. Like, for example, what they do is, for example, if you have a sword, you can use a sword for good things or a sword for bad things. Now, let's have a look. Like, for example, there is, everybody knows the Return of the Jedi. I'm going to write a book about this Return of the Jedi. Now, who are the Jedi Knights? People think it's just, you know, based on a fairy tale. You know, it's a mystical knightly order. They know what this is. It's people like me who know what this is and why they made this movie. Now, the average public is just going to watch Star Wars and they think, hey, these people are there. What are the Jedi Knights there for? Notice they're called Jedi, and these people are there to guard peace. Now, the word peace, yes, in Hebrew, yes, or in Arabic, peace is just shalom. Yes, peace is, let me just show you. And now in European languages, it will be salam, not shalom, because in Europe they rejected the letter H. They've always rejected it for some reason. Yes, yes, and let me just show you. So these Jedi Knights, this is very important, yes, are there to guard Salam or Islam, original Islam, not the modern Islam. Now, many people don't know what I'm talking about, but once you understand these secrets, so these Jedi Knights have all these swords. And you will notice that they're all dressed in long robes, how the original Europeans used to dress until the 20th century, and how the Muslims dress. And now the thing is, this is what many people don't know what is really going on. Or the thing is, what do you call it? The original meaning that this was a European concept. Yes, so this is why the Quran has got something to do with Europe. The Knights of Jihad are there to protect Islam or peace. You see, Jedi, Jihadi. You see it? And the H is silent. You see? So it's in the movies and the dramas. So, and they're not, they don't tell you these things like, there's more to this. Like, let me just show you. Let me just show a few things. Many people don't know this. Let's talk about Superman 2. Was the most famous Superman movie. You know, with Christopher Reeve. For my age generation, Superman 2. Yes. And this gets very deeper. It was released on June the 19th, Superman 2. Yes. Yes, and then what many people will notice, yes, is that many people don't have a look at this carefully. Yes, but let me just send you the symbol for the letter of Superman. He's actually wearing a snake on his chest, or he's wearing the letter S, which is the letter 19. Yes, and the thing is, but this movie has got something more to it. Superman is the son of Jor-El. Yes, he is the son of Zor-El. Yes, or Israel. Yes, Israel. He's the son of Israel. I'm being serious. Many people don't know these things. Superman is the son of Jor-El. He's the son of Israel. And the most popular was Superman 2. Let me just remind people what Superman 2 is. People say, whoa, I've seen this. It was the best one. Yes, where he is fighting, what do you call it? General Zod. Yes, or General God. You see, and he's fighting the Trinity, or he's fighting the three. Yes, Superman 2. He's actually fighting the three. Let me just show this, and then many people will think, damn, I remember this movie. Yes, it was the best one out of the Supermans. I have to watch that again. I've not watched it in many years. So he's actually fighting the three, but they've based these films and many of the things around the number 19. And as you'll notice, General Zod in the background, yes, many people don't know. He's standing there with the cross or the letter T with number 19. Yes, and then Superman, oh, they've put the snake on his chest. He's wearing the 19. So they've twisted the story, and the movie was released on the 19th. Yes, and the cross symbol, the letter Tau, the original cross, was actually 19. Are you beginning to see, Raphael?
I'm not
Yes.
exactly. So, but this means that we do have the description certainly of two opposing forces, one representing Moshe and
Yes.
old original source religion or whatever, and the other one
Yes.
representing the Trinity, the cross, and the 19.
Yes. So now the thing is, many people are saying I'm preaching a religion or something. How can I ignore the return of the Jedi. The Jedi Knights are fighting for Salem or Salam, and they're the Knights Jihadi or Jihad, the Knights who are supposed to be protecting the original Salam, and they're wearing the long robes. Yeah, and then when you travel throughout the Middle East, you see these robes straight away. Let me just show you these robes. You see these straight away when you're in Marrakesh or in Cairo or somewhere, and you see these. They're wearing the same brown robes and everything else, and the white robes and the white knights and the white Jedi Knights that you see these Muslims wearing and everything with the hooded tops. Yeah, I don't see this fashion, anywhere in Europe. I seem to find the Muslims are wearing this. And the thing is, I even noticed this in the last Crusade and things like this. So it's like, what do people want me to do? Do you want me to hide it? If people want me to hide it and start telling lies, I can start doing this. I can pretend. I can do this, but my heart is telling me I can't do this. Yeah, like let me just send you. The thing is, you'll find, and the Muslims wear this, and they say we've got to wear it on the festival times. Now, the thing is, and they've modified it a bit to make it easier to walk. Some of them have the shorter dress and everything, and so the thing is, they're wearing these hooded tops. Let me just show you Knights Templar in the last Crusade, and then the numerology and the symbols and everything. I figured these things out a long time ago, and then I noticed they kiss the hand, and only when you go to the Muslim countries I've noticed that these people are kissing the hands of the knights. They're doing this right now. You've got to kiss the father's hand, the grandfather's hand, and they're wearing the long robes of the Knights Templar, and the Knights Templar, yeah, the Knights of Christ, of Jesus Christ, of the Temple of Solomon, guarding the secret, and the children of Solomon, they built all these temples. I've mentioned this more in my book called Mud Flood. I've updated the Mud Flood to mention more about these things. Now, the thing is, the cup of Christ, it's in the Quran. I don't seem to think that this is a book of the Middle East. The modern Muslims have got no idea what this book is even saying all these stories. Yeah. So the thing is, this is the history of Europe. The camels are in Europe. Yeah. The Crusades were in Europe. The Vatican was launching Crusades in Germany. Yeah. And did they go to the wrong place for the Crusades? They're going to Germany. I mean, I would expect. When we think of the Crusades, we will think of. I'll just put this again to make it clear. That because some people have turned and said, oh, because Islam was rising, that's why they went to the Crusades in the Middle East. Sorry, no. The Vatican was having crusades every single year for century after century. In France, in Germany, in Czechoslovakia, in Austria, in Switzerland, in Poland, in Holland. They were having these crusades. In Spain, the Vatican is having crusades. The crusades were in Europe. The camels were in Europe. They're fighting Germany, the Holy Roman Empire. Why are they fighting Germany? What the hell is going on? And then the thing is, yeah, and then we've got this story of the thing is the so-called Huns. Yeah, why were these people in the Middle Ages? Yeah, why are these people, the Germanic people, why were they called, the Mohammedans? Yeah, why is the Bible describing events of Christians with the letter T on their head with the number 19 and the Mohammedans, two sides fighting each other in the book of Ezekiel? Why is it? It's because this is the Middle Ages. The Bible is describing the Crusades. Yes, after the first 5 books of Moses, until we come to the book of Machabah, yes, or the father Makkah. And then I noticed that people mentioned Baphomet. Yes, let me just explain something. The Quran tells the story. It says that Muhammad, or the Prophet Muhammad, many Muslims have requested to me say the Prophet, yeah, because there's lots of Muhammads, yeah. The Muhammad, yeah, it turned because many people used to call Maha Emet, or the Great Truth. They used to call him Father. Because it was common, because of Christianity at that time, to say, oh, Father. The priests were known as fathers, the teachers. Yes, so the Quran turned around and says, you shouldn't call him this. He is not your father. This is where the name came the name Papa or Baba Emet. Emet, truth. Yes, the Hebrew word Yes, and it's not just in Hebrew, it's in Arabic and in many Germanic languages and in Latin languages. Yeah, Emet, even in languages in Sanskrit related to that. So this man, they called him the father of truth. So they called him Baba Emet or Baf. Yes, let me see now. Ba means father. Let me just get this out. In many Indo-Aryan languages, yes, the word Baf means father.
So
Let me
Father
just
Truth, basically.
yeah, but let me just show this, or people will say I'm just inventing this. The thing is, yeah, even in Nepal, where they're using the swastika. Let me just send this. Yeah, the word father, yeah, is baf, baf, bafa, bapa, baba, papa. Pronounce it how you want. Bab, baba. Yes. So some people pronounce it the P like a B. That's why we say papa, baba, however you want to. So even as far as Nepal is where the Buddha is supposed to be from. Yes. So now when we say Bafa Emit, it just means father of truth. So when the Knights Templar, yes, when the Knights Templar were following this father of truth, Bafa Emit, yeah, it's in the Vatican documents. Knights Templar were accused of being Muslims. Yeah, or they, it seemed like not what do you call it? When somebody turns around and says, what do you call it? You're a Muslim, you. Yeah. So now I'm going to have to kill you if you're a Muslim. So you're going to deny it. Yes. So the charge for why they were killed was because they were Muslims. What else can I say? Yeah, the Knights Templar. You can go onto many Mason websites, who talk about these Knights Templar, but they were accused of being, together, that they're the same people as the Muslims. So, and then the thing is, in Paris, we find 6 million dead. This is not a small thing. In Europe, they killed European ancestors. Yeah, when you go throughout the churches, in my book, Skull and Bones, I've shown there's millions of skulls and bones, bottom of churches and underground in all these cities. They killed everybody. They took over. They kept the kids. It's time to wake up. And the thing is, if somebody is going to turn around and say, in his new book, somebody turned around and said, David, I'm so happy that you've mentioned the Midrash quite a lot in my book, Mudflood. Does this mean I'm trying to convert people to become Jews? No. I've even said I personally would find it hard if somebody turns around now tomorrow morning and says, "Hey, I live in Rome or I'm in Milan, and I've got a child and it's a virgin," and then Pope Francis or whoever the latest guy is turns around and says, we now have a virgin child, and this is now the Son of God, and he's been declared the Son of God on Epiphany when he officially got baptized on the 19th. Or thou shalt celebrate him Christmas festival on the 19th. He's going to get killed and he'll come back from the dead on April the 19th on Easter. Or you've all got to put the number 19 on your head, the Tau symbol or the 19 symbol. What the hell is going on here? This is no joke. What do you have to say now, Raphael? Let's call it the end now. Any comments, any questions? Have I just given you one of the biggest shocks in your life?
Well, I want to say I've grown quite resilient, but definitely great stuff. Thank you also for tying it all together again and summarizing it. I'll digest it and
But is it a mega shock for you?
well,
Is
maybe
this?
really I'm not the right target group. I mean, of course it continues, but I'm not, how
Oh,
should I say,
you're
I'm not
used
so
to it now.
surprised anymore, I'm just expecting, more of these kind of things talking to you.
You're
So
used
that's
to it.
that's why I'm not extremely shocked, let's say. Some of the things we mentioned
Yes.
before, but you
Yeah.
really did a great job, I think, of putting it all into relationship again, and people always love pop culture references. So the things with the Jedi, definitely, that's a very
Yeah.
good one, I
Yes.
like that one a lot.
Yes, and the Superman thing is many people when now people watch Star Wars in the last 10 years because there's been the trilogy or these new ones, yeah. But anybody from their childhood would remember how Superman influenced them. Then there's more. I've not told you this. Superman when he goes to Niagara Falls, Superman Niagara Falls. Yeah, you could add this somewhere in the video. Yes, or if you want to, yeah, in the Niagara Falls scenes, I'm going to open this up. But when he jumps into Niagara Falls, an old woman says, Superman, he's Jewish or he's a children of Israel. You'll hear it. Wait, I'm going to play this so that you can actually hear this. Yeah, and then I'll send you the link. You can you'll
Great.
find Superman 2. You could add it somewhere. Yes, you can find it Superman 2, Niagara Falls hero scene. There's a link here. And so the thing is, the entire story is based on Christianity and all these other things, and Judaism and Islam. And the thing is, you know, he's the son of Jarel, Israel, Jarel, Zerael, Israel.
I got a great shot of that.
What a nice man. Of course he's Jewish.
What a nice man. Of course, he's Jewish.
Jewish.
Did you hear that?
Yes, yes. Hmm.
Yes. So the thing is, there's a war going on. It's like the thing is, for me, I would prefer to be called children of Israel. Oh, instead of being called Jewish. Yeah, because Jewish actually now it's got several meanings. Yes, it's got several different meanings. So I would classify myself as children of Israel. Yeah. If somebody asked me, am I a Christian? I could call myself Christian because if Jesus Christ came here tomorrow morning, I know that I would be his follower. If somebody is going to say, are you a Hun? Are you Hungarian? Are you Germanic? If Attila the Hun came tomorrow, Attila is King Arthur and the cup of Christ. The story is in Attila as well. The cup that Attila has. Let me just share this. Many people don't know. Or the cup of Attila and the cup Attila had the modest cup, Attila and the cup. The story is very famous. The thing is, he drank Attila's cup. Yeah. He was drinking in the modest cup. Yes. And this is supposed to be, you know, a special cup, the story of the Holy Grail or the cup of Christ. To me, these legends are part of my life that I am a follower of Attila the Hun or King Arthur. Yes, I'm one of their people. Now, if somebody says the Emet or the truth in Judaism, am I a follower of the Emet or the Maha Emet, the great truth? Yes, I am. So you can call me a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim. You can call me any of them. Yeah, you know, and the thing is, my personal beliefs, I'm not getting them involved. I've shown you what I've found. Yeah, and I know I've found incredible things. I don't understand everything. Now, the worst thing is, which I'm still studying, this would be the biggest shock in my life. What if Moses was a big fraud? What if it's the other way around? So I'm still checking. Yes, I'm still checking. I do believe in the God of Moses. Yes, in the God of Abraham, in the God of Isaac, and the God of Ishmael. Yes, I do believe in that God. In the God of Christ, I believe in that God. Do I believe in the Trinity? If somebody asks me as a personal question, yes, you know, I totally do not believe in the Tau or the 19, this cross crucifixion. I don't believe in that. And same like Moses, he held out his hand. Yes, and he's rejecting what they're showing with their 19, and they're doing their arts and they're doing their sciences and they're ruling the world at that time. I too reject the stories that they're showing with these 19s and with their arts. So this is my personal belief. You've got your own choice. If you want to be a Buddhist, go ahead. If you want to be, you know, a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, go ahead. If you want to be an Orthodox Muslim, go ahead. If you want to be a New Age Judaism, go ahead. I like everybody, me, as long as you're peaceful and you want to build a beautiful life and you help each other and you're charitable. Yeah. And the thing is, me personally, I think all good people are going to heaven anyway. That's me. That's my personal belief. Do I think modern Christianity is a fraud? Yes, I do. Original Christianity was something else. This is why Christ is special to me. Do I think modern Judaism is a fraud? Yes, I do. The religion of Moses was about freedom. It was something else. Yes. Do I think modern Islam is a fraud? Totally, absolutely, yes. And the thing is, the original Islam, which was to do with the great truth or the Maha Emet or the Muhammad, yes, I totally accept this. Now, the thing is, I see the Bible as a historical document, the Quran as a historical document, and the Midrash and the Talmud and other things as historical documents. And I look for things within those documents that could help us make our life better, that could make us come closer to the truth, because we're all thinking, who are we? Why are we alive? What are we doing in this place? Yeah. So I'm just looking for these things. And if I've helped to bring anybody close to finding out the ultimate answer, yes, then I will be happy with myself. And I hope these things help. And because I've got a lot of knowledge, I'm sharing it. If many people have accused me of being, a communist, because I published a book. I published a book called One World, One Dream, which many people will say is connected to China and the New World Order. Let me just send you the front cover. Have you ever seen that book? Have you
I don't
seen
think
it,
so.
Raphael? No? Ah, okay. Let me just send it you, and then it's because many people are sharing it and they're saying, hey, he's part of the One World, One Dream. No, I liked the
Well,
idea
let
of
me
one.
just say basically what I love about all of those critics is if they just come up with whatever ad hominem, but actually completely refuse to discuss any of the actual things you bring forward, which is what an academic or intellectual discussion should be about primarily. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a great point. Well, anyway, I was in China, around the time of the Olympics and before then, and they had the slogan everywhere: "One world, one dream." Let me send it you. I've published this book. Yeah, and the front cover has "One world, one dream," and everyone knows the Olympics have got all these, New Age symbols, One World Order symbols. Um, let me just go through one world, one dream, and Masonic symbols. All these Olympics have them. So now the thing is, in Beijing 2008, it had it everywhere in China. You cannot avoid it. I'm walking past it every minute. And the thing is, the Chinese people feel, many of them feel that, in the West, we've rejected them just because the BBC and the media is advertising things. So the Chinese feel like the world has rejected them. Same like many Muslims feel like they've been rejected. Same like you could say many Russians right now feel like they've been rejected. Yeah, in Europe and other places, many Russians say that to me. Yeah. So the thing is, I liked the idea of one world, one dream, and it actually entered my heart. I like this idea. These nation state borders are a forgery. Yeah, like when you're going from Hungary just to Serbia, yeah, I've noticed that many Hungarians want to go to the other side. And then when you just go from the Czech Republic to Germany or from Bavaria to Austria and these things, many people say, hey, these are artificial borders. Yeah, they're fake borders, from Holland to Belgium. These borders, they actually separated people. So I believe the world belongs to all of us. It's like somebody has turned around and said to me, what's my position on Israel and the Palestinian thing? People are people. There's all that land in the Middle East. I think they should make a union like the European Union, like to link all the way from, like as far east as, Dubai, all the way to Tel Aviv. I think they should open the borders, go wherever you want, live wherever you want, and that's the end of the Middle East crisis. Yeah, live wherever you want, and then the Temple Mount thing, they should open up that history, and then I'm sure they can make a settlement. Yeah, they can come to a thing. The thing is they can come to an agreement, and people in school they should be shown these things that on Temple Mount. Why was it called the Mosque of Umar? Yeah, I've put this there, that many people are saying he's just saying all these paintings. Let me just show you just a final point, a reminder of Jerusalem, one of the biggest jokes ever. Yeah, that there's only 150 years ago, 100 years ago, there's only 3,000 men in the entire city of Jerusalem, which just makes it a joke. That somebody from Birmingham in England, Birmingham, was asking me saying, oh no, how do we know that this isn't Jerusalem? And then I gave them a comparison in Birmingham. There's an area in Birmingham called Lozells. Now, this is Jerusalem 150 years ago. This is the size of an estate called Lozells. It's just the size of one small estate, yeah, in Birmingham. Yeah, if anyone knows Lozells. Now, if we're in London, let's say Finsbury Park is probably 1/4 of Finsbury Park. Now, if somebody's in New York and they say Brooklyn, let me just compare it to somewhere in New York. How big is Brooklyn? Yeah, that the picture that they're showing us, they're telling us, oh God, Brooklyn is probably you know 100 times bigger or 200 times bigger. Damn, I can't even compare it to Brooklyn. Even New Jersey is 100 times bigger than what we're looking at in this photograph. Let's see what how big New Jersey is. Oh God, it's too big. I don't even know how to describe it, but you know, if you're in London, Finsbury Park, let's see, Finsbury Park is probably, let me just check, Finsbury Park is famous. Oh, where's the place where these riots are happening in Paris? What's that place called?
I don't even know.
I forgot. But the area is called the Eiffel Tower area. Let's see, Eiffel Tower
Well, it
area.
basically looks you could take any blocks of a metropolitan area. You have 4 blocks and you have as many people as are in the picture, if even that
Yeah,
much, you know.
that's it. It's just a couple of blocks. Yeah, that's all it is. So, some people are turning around saying the Crusades were fought over that thing. You know, are they dreaming or something? Me and a few friends, when we're drunk on a Friday night, we could jump over that wall. You know, with a bit of a small ladder or a few boxes there. You know, and people are saying, you know, they can explain saying the Crusades went to the wrong city. Come on, we've got all these armies, you know, crusading armies that are going to Istanbul in Turkey. And then not only that, you know, the Crusades, they're fighting in Germany. The Crusades are in Germany and in Central Europe. They're not actually going to the Middle East. It was only like 4 or 5 Crusades that went to the Middle East. That's it. That is it. We're talking every single year the Crusades happened for centuries. They're invading Germany. They're attacking people who refused to become Christian. And these people were mysteriously called Aliman as well. Yeah, they're called Aliman and other strange names that sounds like the men of Allah. Aliman, I'm saying in modern language. Yeah, it's actually Alaman. Yeah, Alaman people. Yeah, Alaman. Yeah. Let me just find this. Alaman. They've even there's many towns and villages named after Alaman throughout Europe. That doesn't make sense. Alamani, yeah, because I'm typing it. Yeah, they're called the Alamani. Yeah, these people, Alaman, and somebody's going to turn around and say, "Oh no!" When it comes to if it comes to a Muslim discussion, we're going to turn around and say it just means all the men. But if it was somebody else, they're going to turn around and say, oh, if this was another religion, they would have said, oh, if it's called the Christmen, they'll say, oh, no, 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 this is to do with Christ. Why? You know, we could turn around and say it could just mean to do with the symbol of the cross, you know, and the cross doesn't have anything to do with Christianity. It's just a tribe from the Southern Cross that you could see in Africa. Because, by the way, the Southern, another strange thing is a major proof. This is another thing. Southern Cross is in the, let me just show you this now. This will get people going. Now people will think, what the hell? Yes, the Southern Cross, or the shape of the cross, is actually in the Southern Hemisphere, that you could see it from Africa. Yeah, the Southern Cross, and let me just show you what the Southern Cross looks like. Yeah, the symbol for Christianity, and everyone knows that it matches, you know, the dates match the Southern Cross. Let me just show you this now. This will make you think, what the hell? This is in one of my books. I forgot which one now, because there's 20 books, so I've forgotten. I'm glad it's not 19 books anymore. Yeah. Now the Southern Cross, you can see this from the south, and Christianity came from Babylon, the Greek language from Africa. And do you know what? The Muslim flag, yes, the Muslim flag has got the moon and the star. And do you know, the crescent moon is actually seen from the north. This is
Hmm.
another thing that people don't realize. Yes, it's actually for the north, because in the north it's dark all year round. And you, oh, the photo hasn't come through of the Southern Cross. Let me just send you this again. This is another thing. So this is when I realized that they've actually changed the history, and they've changed the symbols round when they created these nation states. Let me just send you this again. Can you still hear me, by the way?
Yes.
I keep worrying that you can't. Let me just send you this again. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's got through. The Southern Cross, yes, that you
Yes.
can see this from the south. You can't actually see this from the north in most places. Many people don't realize this. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, the star and the moon symbol, yes, that you will see on flags like Turkey and Pakistan. Yeah, yeah, no offense. I've said in some interviews, I'm not sure if it's with you or not. I actually called it India, not by mistake, but let me just send this through. The flag, Muslim flags, and Algeria and Malaysia. That the thing is, Malaysia's in the south. So now the thing is, the crescent moon is actually more seen in the north. Crescent moon is in the north, actually. Yeah, yeah. Aims at the sun. Let me see now. What side is the crescent moon on? Well, it's pointing in the. Is the moon north of the? Yes. At an angle that points to the south. I've forgotten this. Does the moon look? What direction? How do you find the crescent moon? Western horizon. And let's see now. What? Ah, yes. Now here the thing is, Wikipedia explains it. Yeah, it's a long story. You know, God knows. But anyway, it says the moon's orbit is whatever, and why is the moon so far north? Orbit of the moon. Yeah. At such time, the Earth's north pole is towards the moon. Yeah, and the moon is north of the ecliptic. I'm not sure, but anyway, the thing is, yeah, the thing is, it's more in the north, and the thing is, many of the Jewish and the Muslim festivals, yeah, you can't actually find them in the south because you look for the moon in the north or something. Yeah, I've forgotten. Yeah, the what's new moon. Well, anyway, we'll have to talk about this some other time. It's a long story. Yes,
All right.
but anyway, I'm sure that the information today has been shocking. I hope it helps. That Christianity is based on 19, and the thing is, Islam and Judaism rejected this. Now, modern Islam and modern Judaism has been modified, but the thing is, you know, and when we look at the Jedi Knights who are protecting Salem or Salam, they're protecting original Islam. So when we look at these bottom things, and then when we see that the stories in the Quran are mysteriously found in Europe, and we can't seem to find them amongst these modern Muslim nations, and it's a long story, but evidence shows that many of the Muslims in these modern Muslim nations, like Indonesia and in Saudi Arabia, even in Saudi Arabia, became Muslim only in the last 200 years. But that's another long topic. Yeah, any questions, Raphael? Let's make this the last question.
I think there's a lot of information to process for now. We'll come back with questions next time.
Yes, yeah, let's leave it at that. And then Raphael, one major point. You know, when you made the last video, some people turned around and said, you know, the pictures, you display them for about 10 seconds or something. Just leave it pictures all the way through, that while I'm talking about a subject, you just leave that picture open all the way through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes this is not possible because the topic is
Is it
simply
not?
no, just sometimes because the topic is switching. Other
Ah,
times I
yeah.
can adjust it accordingly, and otherwise I'd invite everyone. You can
No.
always pause the video if you
That's
really want
okay.
to read through it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
sometimes
that's
you're
okay.
moving through quickly, then I have to
Yeah,
change them,
that's
but
the point.
I'll watch out
That's
for
the
it.
point.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that's a point. No more questions, Raphael. That's it.
I think there'll be plenty questions, but the main thing, as I said, is just to line out
Yeah.
there was this opposition historically. We will still have to figure out. I mean, it's always,
Yeah.
who was.
I'm still trying to figure everything out myself. So if anybody says I'm preaching, I'm not. God, good heavens, I'm not preaching. There is no way I'm going to push anybody towards any of these religions that we see today. Yeah. Now, what I will push people towards is I will say that the Bible is a very important document of history because it mentions Christianity in the Old Testament. It's not predicting it. It is not a prediction. It is not a revelation to match the New Testament. It's actually talking about the Mohammedans fighting the people with the cross and other things. And it does have a lot of history. And the Quran also has a lot of history, and it's mentioning the same war. These both books are historical documents. Now, from historical evidence, what I have found, I've said this before, is that the Bible has been modified. Unfortunately, nobody could protect it. It's too big. Now, the Quran, they started memorizing it. I found a memorization up to about 200 years, maximum 300 years. Professor Anatoly Fomenko from Moscow State University says that it could be up to 500 years. Yeah. He indicates this. Now, another thing, I mentioned this last time, but I'll just send this to you again because you mentioned it yesterday, and I don't want anybody to get misled by this, because this is very important. Now, it's very important. What happened is, when they did the one version of the Quran, why I'm saying version, based on the spelling version, when the British and the French and the Vatican and the other people, when they did their spelling and the chapter thing, let me just show. The thing is, what they did was they played around with the verses, the numbering. Yeah, they couldn't change the order of the verses, and they played around with the where a chapter will start and the numbers and many things like this. Because I noticed that in some Muslim traditions it says there's 30 books in the Quran. That's why they read it out, something like 30 days or something in Ramadan. But anyway, this is another deep story. So if anybody is going to find numerical codes and patterns in the chaptering or the verse orders of the Quran, you'll find the same things in the Bible, by the way, because the same people who did the ordering of the verses in the Bible, like Mary is mentioned in the Bible 19 times, by the way. Yeah, the Virgin Mary is mentioned 19 times. Yeah, so the thing is, they played around with some of these games. So it seemed like if I have a sword and I'm a Jedi Knight, I could use it for salam or Islam and peace. Yes, or I could use it, to be with Darth Vader, the Dark Forces. Yeah.
Right.
So the thing is, we could be on either side, but it's another long topic. Yeah. So let's leave it at that then, Raphael.
All
Yes,
right,
I think
perfect.
this is quite enough.
Thank you, David.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Have a great evening. Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.